the sound. Here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Pope Show. And today, unfortunately, is not going to be the birthday video because of some computer issues. Had to wait for a part to get shipped in here, so I ran out of time. So today we're going to do a different video to hone the jug for the blaster. And I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we're also going to hone another jug. Just kind of show you just to show you the difference between a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke. But before that, I'm going to show you the goat cart that we're working on, the one that needed the chain. We put the chain on there, we got the throttle linkage up, we got the brakes working, so we got everything working on it. So let's go ahead and look at the cart. This is the throttle cable that came with it. It went like way farther. Oops, sorry. It went way farther than this, probably like another 3 feet. And what I did is I just cut this plastic, and then I cut that spring in there, that little metal spring, and then this, you know, slide the casing off, and you got this left. So that worked out nicely. The throttle works perfectly. It has a little spring. Well, that ghetto spring. Well, whatever, it works. Because for some reason there's not that extra wire hanging down for a kill switch, so you have to reach back and actually hit the kill switch right here, which was kind of scary. And then here is chain. Got the chain on there, and then I had to thread a different bolt in there because I didn't have the right thread, and I didn't feel like going somewheres. This Tractor Supply doesn't have it because I think it's a 5/8 24, and it's kind of an oddball one. I have to order it, so I just rethreaded and put that one in there. And then the brakes I just finished getting done. I had to cut them. I had to cut it and move it this way because it was originally welded right here. And you know, I had those bigger tires I was planning on putting on this, but now I'm just leaving these smaller ones on, so I had to move it forward enough to where this would actually hit and make it a brake. So got all that done, and the bad thing is, well, there's two bad things. As you can see, whenever I got into it, my knees were touching my chin. So uncomfortable, way too short for me. And the sprocket. I went around one time in the house, and you never see this again because the sprocket kept on popping off. And it's kind of a mixture of two things. One is the engine bracket. One is the engine bracket, because that pipe comes out right there and then stops and, you know, does that little elbow right there. Well, since it doesn't come all the way out over here, it actually bounces up and down, and you know, that doesn't help the chain staying on. And also we started looking at it, and the sprocket actually has a little bend to it, and when you push the cart, you can feel it on here. It'll like get tight and then loose, tight and then loose. So you know, that would need a new sprocket, and then I'd have to come out here and weld this. But for it being so short, and I don't know, I don't like this cart. So I don't know, I might trade this off, or I might keep it and fix that back, but we'll find that out later. I just wanted to give you a little bit closer and personal view of the little cart. Okay guys, so now we're gonna go ahead and hone this out, because if you can see that or not, if you see that, like I said before, that's where that piston stopped, was where that rust line is. Oops, right here. So we're gonna try to get rid of that and try to get rid of that rust. So what I did, I just went to Advanced Auto and rent one of these honing devices, and I think it was like 25 bucks, and then you get your money back as soon as you're done with it. So it's really not that bad. It's basically free. But you don't want to go in there and go dry. You want to put a little bit of oil on here before you start going in there and cutting stuff. So oil. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil in the cylinder also. Okay, so I got this well oiled up, and before that, I actually went in there with a rag and clean out like the big burrs, because you don't want to have big burrs in there. And then I oiled this up also, and then I hooked it up to my drill. Milwaukee, baby! And when you're going in there and honing this out, you want to make sure you go up and down so you get, you know, the same size hole, because if you hold it in one spot too long, then you know it's going to be bigger at one spot than the other. So you have to go slow with this and kind of just work with it. See what they're looking like. Oh, that is 1,000 times better. Okay, sorry, I gotta use my light on my impact. But as you can tell, you know, you can still see a little bit of that rust, but it's just like a little bit of pitting, and I'm gonna go in there and try to graze it a little bit more. But there's not actually gouges or anything in it. It's just kind of, you know, staining of it, if you'd say like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more just because I already have everything here. But it actually turned out really well. Alright, so I hold everything back up. Go for another shot. Alright, I'm gonna call that good. She is, baby. Okay, so I got it all cleaned out, and then I took a rag in there, get all the particles out of there. Looks pretty good. And then if you're ever wondering, two strokes, you know, they have those channels in there. On two strokes, you know, they don't have the valves because they have those ports right there. And that's why it's really critical when you put the piston back on there. You put, why are you so short? You put the rings back in a certain position, because if it hits that port, and you have it to where the ring actually has where that little slot is, you know, it could catch on that port and then just rip that ring right out. And like on this piston, it has a little dipple there, so you can't get those rings wrong. So you want to be very careful when you put a two-stroke piston back together, or the rings in there, because you don't want to hit one of those ports. But anyways, as I was saying, you know, the ports, they acted like valves, because as the piston goes down, you know, that it'll pass that port, which is the intake of, and then it pushes all the fuel and your air into it, and then as the piston goes up, you know, it'll explode, and then it'll go, as it starts going down, it'll hit that exhaust port and then go out the exhaust. Alleviates the valves, which is, you know, nice, because it makes these engines very easy, you know, to work on. Which is why whenever, you know, I got this engine and was seized, you know, I didn't even mess with, you know, putting oil in the spark plug hole and like, oh, you know, using the kickstand and get on there with a pry bar on the kickstand. No, you're stupid. You're gonna break the thing. You know, all it is a little gear in that kickstand, and you're just gonna thrash it. All you gotta do, I think it was like 6 or 7 bolts off the top of the head, and there was like a puddle of WD-40 in there. You pop the head off, you see the piston right there, put some WD-40 in there, get a rubber mallet and a piece of wood, and you put that piece of wood, and you want to get about the whole length of the piston, so you know if it's too small, you're going to punch a hole right in the piston. You want to make sure get the same width as a piston. Put it on the piston, and then just keep on whacking that mallet until it frees up. Works perfectly. I've done it on 2 other toys, because I've only had 2 seized engines, and it's worked every time. My last one was a 3-wheeler, and I tried that because, you know, it is a 4-cylinder and I didn't want to take it apart. I tried the oil. I've tried the oil for like 2 weeks, you know, different kinds of oil. Nothing would work. Took the head off and, you know, put the board on there, whacked a couple times, came right off. So, you know, sometimes you just got to dig into stuff. It's a lot easier than, you know, trying to kickstart it, because like I said, those gears are so small, they're not made for that. You know, they're not made for prying. But anyways, I'm rambling on. Let's get back. And then I got another head that I want to home, actually off that motorcycle engine I got from the scrapyard, because I'm going to try salvaging that and selling that on eBay. So I figure why I got you guys here, I'll show you it again, you know. Okay, let's see what we can salvage out of this baby. I don't think we will, but find out. That time I went at a faster speed just because I wanted to see what the difference between going high speed and low speed. And I really don't care about this jug because it's a junkyard. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of testing as I'm going. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean that out and see what. So looking in here, those grooves are down in the cylinders, so there would be no saving this. Only way I could say this is if I go for a bigger bore or if I push out and put a new sleeve in there. And it's really just not worth it. It'll probably just go on my shelf of, you know, cool things that I've had. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try a little bit more. Kind of just play with it. Yeah, she ain't a saving. I'm gonna go back to 2. I'm just playing now. Oh, I just bought it. Damn it. So that's why you don't play with toys that you rented. Oh man, and I broke them. Oh, I just broke everything. Oh, well, I guess I just bought this. And then I'm gonna have to throw it away now. Crap. Okay, so I have fixed it. I got these little arms that just pop out. And so I was able to push them back in, but you know, this is still broken. So, man, I can't return it like that. And this piece, it's cracked right there. Which, I mean, they might not see that, but, you know, I'll know. And I'm not that kind of person to return something like that. So, still ended up buying it. I'm gonna see if it still works somewhat. Please don't hurt me. Well, I guess it does technically still work. Just broken to crap. Crap. Really don't want to buy it. Okay, so we're done with this girl. And you can tell those grooves are still, where are they? Grooves are still in there because that's the excess oil, and it's actually in there like a canal, in there like a canal, you know. So it's definitely pitting, and you know, I want to put that in eBay because I want to buy that. So, like I said, we'll just hang this one up and call it a day. Okay guys, well, I have good news. I just came back from AutoZone and I brought that part up there, and you know, I told them that was broken, and it's like, oh, that's fine, we'll take it. It's like, sweet, thank God. So they took it even though it was broken. So I got my 25 bucks back. So I was like, all right, sweet, you know, I'll go ahead and pick up. I'll go ahead and pick up some paint while I'm there. And so I grabbed some paint for the actual jug on the four-wheeler, because I'm planning on painting that whole four-wheeler. I want to take it down to the frame and paint it because it just looks so ugly. So for the engine, I am going to do black, and I got that high temp, which is, I think, 550 Fahrenheit, so degrees Fahrenheit, whatever, I don't know. You know, so this is for the jug, so it has to be the high temp, which is going to work amazing. I got the gloss black, and then I got the gloss clear coat for it also, and same rating on the temperature, which I've never used the clear coat on it before, so hopefully it works really well. And then I also got, for the plastics, because I'm
I'm probably going to end up painting the plastics. I don't know, I'm still going back and forth. Once I strip it off, I'll see what color it is. But when you paint plastic or vinyl, you can't just, you know, put primer on it, or any kind of primer. You can't put primer on it and just paint, because that's not going to work. It won't stick to it, because plastic's a little bit different than metal. Well, a lot different than metal. So you either have to use a primer that is specifically for plastic and actually adhere to it, or you can do what I did, adhesion promoter. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. I can't say it very well. But this is basically the same thing as like a primer. You put it on there and it would show up clear, and then once you get that on there, then you can actually put your paint on, and then it'll actually stick to it very well. But you can't do it without the primer or this adhesion promoter. I can't say it. But you can't do it without this. So I got these couple goodies for the four-wheeler, and you know, I'll get in more detail of how to paint with some rattle cans. You know, I'm not a professional, but you know, just stuff that I've experienced through trying to paint crap. But yeah, so I bought some paint for that, and then the frame. I'm still trying to decide what color I want the frame. I'm going between like a cherry red or maybe an orange. I don't know. I'm still going through that, but that's a long ways for that. I still want to get it running first, but I figured while I'm at the store, I'll buy that. And then I went to go pay for it. They're like, oh yeah, you got like $20 on your AutoZone card. You want to use that? I'm like, hell yeah. So I bought all this for free. Didn't pay a single penny for it. So not a bad day. Not a bad day. But yeah. And then whenever I was talking about the 2-stroke and the 4-stroke, how the jugs are different and the cylinders are different, I kind of just glossed over it because, you know, I wasn't planning on discussing that. I was kind of just talking. If you guys have any more questions, just leave a comment, and then I will start drinking some Snapple, and hopefully one of the lids will have an answer and I can get it to you. But alright guys, I will see you guys later. Peace.